There are new Stark Tech bugs in Marvel Strike Force. There are changes, some slightly positive changes to the Doom raids, and there are changes coming to Iso-8, the economy of that. And to talk about the positives and negatives about all of this, I got my buddy OMG to discuss it with me. And if you're ready for it, OMG, tell them what to do, my friend.
Let's go smash some bugs. Smash it!
ValleyFlyin.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? I am ValleyFlyin. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. And the salt is still continuing on this channel, although it's reduced because we did get some positive changes kind of in the game. But there are new bugs that are rampant in Marvel Strike Force, and I cannot tell if they are visual or if there are real, actual bugs going on. Now, if this is your first time channel, make sure you subscribe. We got more great Marvel Strike Force content, and we're also covering Marvel Future Revolution on this channel. But without further ado, I am joined by my brother OMG. How are you, my friend? Woo, you are back. It has been a while.
Yep. I'm ready. Ready, boy.
I'm
hearing from multiple sources that you are more salty than me at this time. How is that possible?
I don't know.
How did that ever happen? Because traditionally I'm pretty salty, right? And,
you know what? It's because of Scopely. It's because of their boundless bugs and their boundless ways of screwing their customers and taking away content. That's why I'm salty. I actually was pretty positive thinking about it, but reducing content, minimizing content, and you were talking about earlier, this is the first patch that we are getting less content than I did a week ago. But we did get a little bit of relief.
There was a Reddit post that basically said, you know, how is this an update when they're actually removing content from the player's hands? And there was a clarification from Zeke's, kind of like an emergency blog post, if you will, and that answered some of the questions, right, but not all of them. But I do think it was a step in the right direction. I think the question is it enough? You know, or did it? I mean, does it even sound like they're listening? And some of it still baffles me, and some of it, you know, I have a different perspective than a lot of people, so I kind of want to see it from everybody's point of view more so than just mine, right?
Yeah, well, let's go look at this because for you and me, I think these changes are pretty positive, but I don't think this is going to affect the majority of the community at all. So this is the blog post that we saw yesterday, and there were some positive changes, but I don't think they go far enough. And there's a few different things that this does discuss. Reducing the cost going from T1 to T2 from 10,000 ions, which is ridiculous, down to 500. I don't even know why there's a cost. So I'm glad they reduced this to a very minimal amount, but why is there even a cost to this?
That maybe the way it's who knows, but maybe they had to charge 1 and they just decided to make it 5. They couldn't, maybe it was set up in a way where they couldn't charge 0. I don't know. But it's still 500 is way different than 10,000. The problem with this is that it did actually nothing. That 10,000 did nothing. 0 stats. Like a lot of people are like, did I get 10% extra health? What did I get? Did I get a 1% stat boost? Nothing for 10,000 ions. I'm probably about 60, 70,000 ions deep on that. So, and not one player, it was completely unnecessary. I'll take 500. Okay, fine. 500 is not going to negatively impact me long term, I don't think, too much. We'll see.
So yeah, I'm glad they're stepping this back, but it still is very confusing to me why. It could be that outdated archaic code that they're using, their fragile framework that Jason Bencher mentioned. All right, this one is actually pretty big, and for you and me, and for certain alliances, this is changing the content pretty significantly. Doom raids, and the wording of this is confusing. I've been getting questions all stream this morning about this. So basically, what is happening? And I didn't expect this to go down. So this is a pleasant surprise. Previously, all the raids you need at least 5 characters to go in. What's happening now? You're still gonna have that class 5 requirement, but you don't need 5 characters. You could actually go in with 1 character. And this changed things, not in a significant way, but it changed it in a positive way. I was able to do 2 more nodes, maybe 3. For you, this affected you a lot. What was your reaction to this after you saw this?
Okay, so I think there's 2 ways of looking at this, and I think that there's a large number of players that are looking at these ISO 4 and ISO 5 requirements as very steep and pushes it way out for a long time.
Which there are, especially if you're doing this before this update dropped.
And there's a lot of people that only have a handful of ISO 5s or maybe none, and so this changes nothing. Now what this did for certain people, and myself included, actually we're both maybe in a minority here, but I was extremely disappointed with this patch because we were 100%ing the Doom raid every day, yes. 100% Doom raid to basically not being able to play it, where we're just completely removed. And I have actually 4 ISO 5s on pretty much every leg of the Doom raid. So skill, tech, mystic, fine. I have 4 characters, and so I was just gonna have to work on the 5th character, right? And it was kind of annoying. It was gonna take a long time. But this actually, I'm finding that 4 characters. So that's the thing is you can now go. Before it was that you could have 5 characters, and now you can go in with 3 characters, or 4 characters, or 2 characters, or 1 character. And my guess is that 1, 2, or 3 characters is not going to help you much. But you were able to go in with 3 characters and finish off you weren't able to go to the boss, right?
I don't have the energy yet, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with the boss. But I was able to do the non-boss nodes. Yes. With this change, with the 3 characters,
but I will tell you that this change basically made the Doom raid, the Doom 1 raid, a 30% thing for me to a 100% thing for me, because I'm able to go through I'm able to finish my entire lane now with 4 characters, and it's challenging. Believe me, it's challenging, but 4 characters rather than 5 characters is all the difference, and I am able to go in with 4 characters, and I'm not having any problems.
All right, so you're figuring about a week you'll pretty much be back to where you guys were as an alliance.
For what I can see, my alliance is we're all it's trash. By the way, these change, all of it's trash. This is better than trash, right? It's just slightly better, right here. And so
it went from complete crap to mostly crap.
Yeah, honestly. So I see my alliance being back at 100% in about a week. And I think, where were you at? I think you said we
were at 60, 70, 80%. I think we're going to be back up to 60 in a week with this change. But both of us are in the minority. Most alliances aren't going to be doing that. This does not go far enough, in my opinion. These changes mentioned here do not go far enough.
Well, first of all, I just want to stipulate that this is garbage. Firstly, it's garbage, and the ISO and the ISO 5 thing is insidious too, because it's also a requirement for the 7-star Adam Warlock, and then the data mine also suggested these new daily challenges. I don't know, mythic challenges.
Are they daily? I wasn't sure the time frame on those mythic challenges.
They're the data mine. It's data mine, so what does it matter, right?
Yeah,
but the main thing about the data mine is that the 3rd tier of it was going to require ISO 5. So they're shoving ISO 5 down our throats. Get ready, and then so it's almost like once you have to choose. Like right now, like I'll give you an example. Like controllers are super scarce, right? It's just like, oh my god, controllers, and you know what? Jubilee's a controller, and Polaris is a controller. So am I going to work on Polaris and Jubilee over Hela and Taskmaster, or Ghost, to go through certain nodes? It's like I have to choose, right? And so now I'm deciding to take up supports that are useful rather than controllers, because I'm pretty much forced to do Jubilee and Polaris if I ever want to get a 7 red Adam Warlock. And then then instead of taking up Ghost, I'm going to be doing Shuri, and instead of doing Taskmaster, I'm going to be doing Nick Fury. Now I'm probably still going to do Hela, but you get the idea, right? It's like we're going to have to make these decisions, and it's a horrible change. And but here's the thing: is that for me, before it was like that, you needed 15 characters at ISO 5 to finish the last 3 legs. Now you really need 4. A lot of people have Doom and Kestrel. Doom and Kestrel serve 2 slots. So maybe for some people it's only 10 characters. But the problem is those 10 characters, probably a large number of them are actually controllers. At least the smart ones are controllers, right? It's a severe controller ISO crunch is what the problem is.
I was counting the controllers that I was using in Doom every day previously, and that aren't at level 5 of ISO. There's 12 of them. which is about 3.6 million ions. And that's just the ions, not even counting the crystals. 3.6 million ions just to take all those characters from level 4 to level 5 with no influx of new Iso-8. Now we are getting some changes, some relief to this that we're talking about. It's still bad. Because it's not the first one doesn't even happen for a week. That's one thing.
The thing about ISO-5 that feels bad is that, first of all, it takes forever to go from 4 to 5. And if you haven't done it, it is a long time, weeks, right? If you're not, unless you're like spending massive
three to 4 weeks from 4 to 5 per character.
I personally have, some people don't spend cores at all on the ISOs. I spend 50s, right? It takes weeks, right? And here's the thing, there is no meaning, the impact of going from ISO 4 to ISO 5 doesn't feel that impactful. I mean, it's not like tacking on a never red star. You know what I mean? It's not like going from 5 to 6 red stars or 6 to 7 red stars. I mean, it just 2% stat boost, and then maybe you get 50% focus, right? Maybe you get an extra damage on your ISO attack. Maybe you get some extra crit. It doesn't feel that impactful. Now,
which is why that's why people were taking their time with it, though. Because it didn't make that much impact. You didn't need it for the game. Now you need it for requirements. You don't need the content. You need it for to get into stuff.
Because you definitely did not need to have ISO 5s to finish things, right? You just didn't. You know what I mean? There was you just didn't need it. And now Blue's ISO is here, and Blue ISO does add another layer, because once you get to 5, then you can go into the blue, and the blue does add some things to it that are kind of convenient, right, and definitely helpful. But it's just the cost to get there was just so astronomical that it was like, oh my god. I could see it feels like they're making us do something that we weren't organically incentivized to do because of the power. I guess the expression is the juice wasn't worth the squeeze.
No, it wasn't. Right? And it's obvious that the people that made these decisions about these ISO-8 changes, these requirements, don't play the game. They're looking at numbers. They're looking at metrics. They're not looking at the player experience, the people that actually made this decision. I don't think they know how long it takes.
I think they play the game. Here's the difference.
I think some people play the game. I'm thinking not everybody at Scopely and Boundless plays the game.
Okay, so here's my experience with developers. I mean, they play the game, they understand the game in the same way, but they don't play the game the same way that we do. The game that you and I are playing is very different than the game that they're playing. We're playing against bottlenecks. They maybe not be playing against bottlenecks. Think about it. They play the game very differently than the way we do.
On their test thing.
Yeah, they don't see the bottlenecks. They don't see the obstacles. They don't see how we're approaching the game, because large parts of this game is about allocating resources to effective characters and to try to get by with the minimum amount required. It's all about min-maxing, right? And largely that's what we're doing. And that's why, it's like, hey, Kestrel's a great min-max character. I'm just telling you right now. She is, because she has 2 tags. She does a lot of great things. She's a broken character. Fine. So we put research. That's something they don't have to do. They don't have to think about that kind of stuff. So they don't play the game the way that we do, with our own money. Maybe they're given an allowance. Maybe they're doing a free play account. Maybe they're not. They're not playing the same with the same competitive nature and the same drive that you and I play. And so I don't think they see things the same way. But to say that they don't play the game, I don't think would be true. I think they understand the game and
I still don't think that all of the people, especially some of the higher level decision makers, are playing this game on a thing. They may be playing on a test account, but they're not playing in alliances, doing the daily grind. I don't think they're doing that. So that's what I mean when I'm saying I don't think they play this game.
But even like when I've gone to other games, other developers, it's like, oh yeah, you probably understand this better than I do. I've heard that many times. Like I don't think they play it to the detail that we play it, or to the degree or the intensity. And it's a casual experience, and they have a job. I mean, they have to play the game enough to communicate about it. But I'm sure it's it's work. It's probably the last thing they want to do when they're off is play this game. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Got it. So we do have these changes coming, but none of them are permanent until this one about 6 weeks away. So
that's the one that's the most interesting to me, because the rest of the stuff is just
these are temporary. Yeah, this
calendar allocation. It's not a regular means, and the last one is of high interest to me. I don't think it addressed ions, but it's still very good.
It doesn't mention ions at all. So this is not coming till 6 weeks though. So yeah, 6 weeks of missing content, not even able to up. You know, if they did this a few weeks before the Doom Raid changes went live, not a few weeks after it went live, it wouldn't have felt as bad because we could have planned. We could have, we need to start getting these ions. Oh, we're getting more ions. We got to use them. Right. We got to use them wisely. Now it's like, yeah, now we're missing content. We don't get any relief. This whole thing seems super reactionary. It's like they don't have a long-term plan for their game. They're planning.
How do you really feel about that post? Did you downvote it? Go back up and show it. Did you downvote it?
Oh, hell yeah. This is a downvote.
Yeah, how do you really
and this has nothing to do with Zeke's, because I think Zeke's and Cerebro are some of the good guys that are fighting for us, but they're not getting their voices heard. So this isn't against Zeke's. This is against Cerebro. This is the decision makers that made Zeke's post this, because this is not far enough. This is reactionary. This does not seem like a plan. So I'm super disappointed with this. Yes, it helps. Yes, maybe I'll be back. We'll be back to whole, but this is not everybody. Not everybody's going to be there. This is very frustrating.
Okay, so I think the problem with Iso-8 is very simple, is that it has this exponential cost for a linear power progression, and that's the problem. Going from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, it goes 1, 3, 9, 27, 81. It multiplies by 3 each time, right? And you get 2%, 2%, 2%, 2%, 2%, adds up to 10%. You ISO 1, you get a 2% stat boost. ISO 5, you get a 10% stat boost. Well, ISO 1 costs 1, ISO 5 costs 81. The cost, it just goes straight up. And what's the point? Very early on with this ISO 8 system, and say, hey, I'd rather have 9 characters at ISO 3 than 1 character at ISO 5. And now there's like, whoops. No, you should have just only did ISO 5. Come on, dude. So the problem is I don't think many people would have a problem with this, actually. If it wasn't for this exponential cost for linear progression, it's kind of trash. It is trash.
Well, let me propose the solution. And I was talking about, people on chat were mentioning this same type of solution earlier. Doom level 1, take off the requirements. Take off the requirements. Doom 2, Doom 3, Doom 4, Doom 5. That's when you start them. So we're not missing content. We're not missing content. No, let's not make us miss content. Give us the content that we had a few days ago. Don't make us not have this content for at least 6 weeks. Come on now. Right. Let us do what we did, and then chase after. I don't mind chasing for new content. I do mind chasing for content that I was doing previously. That's the easy solution, Scopely. My goodness.
Solution, and they're aware of this. I mean, in your interview with Jason Bender, he talked about how much easier his job would be if he could nerf characters, right? He said that in your interview, right? Yeah. And the idea there is that it's really hard to take something away once you've given it. It just doesn't work that way, especially in these types of games. First of all, people are going to ask for refunds, man. If they buy something and then a couple days later you tell you that they have to take it back, so they're very aware of this idea that it's hard to take something away. But that's what they were doing. This post kind of a little bit, but it's still not really. The logical thing, of course, to do would be to leave things the same. Yes, the first strike is supposed to be their beta test, but here's the thing. It doesn't feel good when you're spending money on beta testing something. And I upgraded characters in a certain way based on the rules of the first strike Doom raids and worked on certain things a certain way. And then to change how it works, the parameters 2 weeks before, seems terrible. And then to remove the content unless I would have done that. It's trash. At the end of the day, it's trash. This is better than it was. It's better than it was, but it's still trash.
Let me piggyback on that first strike thing. If when they announced first strike, you said the requirements to get in this first strike are very easy. We're gonna up them when we launch the normal ones, but this is so that you could preview it and get in there. It would not have felt as bad. When the normal one launches, we're gonna have some additional requirements, but
they change these things the last minute. I mean, if you look at the Gamora kit change between post a week ago and actually in game, they change stuff all the time. They don't know. They don't know what they're doing until
they're
the last
reactionary.
minute.
playtesting, QA. It's the same things that we've been complaining about for so long. And I do want to mention this.
They're understaffed. This last one. Is what that is. They're understaffed, is my opinion. It just all comes down to staffing levels. They need bodies. They just need bodies at this point.
Give them. I'm sure that the 300 million is makes it very hard to recruit new people to the company. And yeah. So anyway,
I think this is my genuine thoughts. I've seen other games struggle, right? And at the end of the day, there's so much money at line with this game that it will get fixed because it's a big game for them. It's an important game. This is a big money maker. They're making money. I think there's been issues with COVID and hiring and staffing, and I choose to believe that some of this is going to get fixed. I choose to believe that.
I know that there's some people in the Boundless Scope Lead thing that don't like these changes and are pushing, and I hope their voices are heard a little more.
We get feedback from people that we talk to that agree with the player base, and then it's like they're getting pushback from other people up. So I know that what you said is true. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep being salty until they get their voices heard at Scopely, because there are people that are fighting for us there that want this game to be better. One thing that I do want to mention is this Start Check bug that. They are aware of it, and I saw the evidence in Dark Dimension, but it looks like it's also affecting War. I cannot tell if this is a visual bug or if this is actually affecting things, because I'm hearing reports of some people saying, "Oh, Doom is much easier." I'm also seeing reports of people saying Doom is harder. Let me just show you what is going on in game right now, and this is Dark Dimension. As you can see, the attack history, if you look at this was from before the update. If you just look at Ebony Maw right here, 151k attack 5, so a later attack after the update, he's only 139. If you look at the rest of these guys, they are also losing power. Interesting thing here, if we go in this,
I've got screenshots of people that are swearing their damage numbers are drastically reduced, and it's because the power levels are lower. And
I don't know.
I don't know if it's visual or if the characters are completely missing Stark Tech, but it looks like it's affecting Dark Dimension and also War.
And maybe other modes, but we just can't see them. This is very weird. And if you look at the screen here, 151 for Ebony Maw, but if you look at my attack from earlier this morning on this node.
Yeah, but see, the thing that's interesting is that your damage
139.
Your damage
139.
went up. Your damage.
These were on auto, so don't worry about the damage numbers. Worry about look at these.
The screenshots that bother me are people that are saying, "Hey, I was able to do about this amount, and now it looks like my power levels have been removed in the amount of Star Tech, and I can only get a quarter as far as I was from prior attempts."
I've also seen some big damage number screenshots as well, but yeah, don't pay attention to my numbers. I'm autoing this. This is my third run. All this is a little border that I'm getting for.
That doesn't fit the narrative. That doesn't fit the narrative, Valley. Well,
the point is, there's something going on. I don't know if it's visual. I don't know if it's real, but they're aware of it. They're working on a fix now. I don't know how long this is going to take. This is something that's hurting the players. This could take weeks. It could take months. It could be years to fix. So who knows?
By December, maybe 2022. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, when is Black Bolt going to get fixed? His passive's still not working. So I don't know. That is it, brother. Some positive changes, but I want more. It is not good enough. This does not bring me back to where I was a couple days ago as far as content that I could do in the game. Any final thoughts, brother? Where are you at with this with everything right now?
I don't know, man. I have no idea anymore. Like I think things are firing in all cylinders in my personal life, so I'm less salty today than I was a week ago. But not because of the game.
Well, maybe that's it. I'm still injured. I can't do jiu-jitsu. I can't work out. Maybe that's where all the extra salt is coming from. I don't know.
I think I'm just in a good mood overall lately, so it doesn't really matter.
I was very salty. We had to get this conversation. I'm like, man, I'm not as salty as I was before, so this is not going to be a salty video. But anyway, thank you for joining me. We're going to go over to your channel and just finish this conversation talking about these Doom raids, some of the changes.
Video.
We are going to talk about something different. But yes, I will see you guys next time. Check out OMG's video. We're gonna continue this, and yes, before you go, give me that Hulk fist pump. Make sure you guys check out some of my sponsors, some of the other videos, and ValleyFlyin and OMG out. Oh yeah, baby.